Welcome to the first edition of A Few Moments with Michael. Now, about this cliched disguise, there's a reason for it. I might become a target of one of Bill O'Reilly's minions. You know how he is. He goes the man's got balls. If someone disagrees with Bill O'Reilly, I don't care whether it's Keith Olbermann or Shirley Babcock at the corner of 9th and 8th and, whatever. He sends his attack dogs after those people. And I'm big. I'm tall. But I am no match. Not for Bill O'Reilly's, I could take him in a minute, but his intellect. And again, he's a very frightening man. So, and oh God, there's Rush. Can you imagine when they see, if they see this video, that the Ditto heads will have a target painted on my tongue? I guarantee it. And it wouldn't surprise me if one of those wackos, way over there, I'm not talking about the normal Ditto heads, but there is a fringe of the fringe of the fringe of the fringe that might even try to cut my tongue out of my mouth. I have to tell you, I don't do impressions. I can't do John McCain. Only Cindy can do that. That's why I'll bring Marvin on, just to help differentiate between the character voice and my voice and get you all ready for, understanding when it's me, Michael, speaking, and when it's me, Michael, speaking for Senator McCain. So that's why I want to introduce you to Marvin. Marv, are you here?
Why, I certainly am, Mike, and I must tell you, you are in great voice tonight.
Well, thank you, Marvin. I'm in great voice because I am sick of what's going on in this country.
Michael.
Michael, you never call me that.
But I did then. Oh, hell. Mike.
Don't overdo it.
Well, you always overdo things. I remember that casserole you made one time. Remember?
Oh, get on with it.
You've always had that temper you just can't control.
Well, Marvin, the scars you've suffered. I'm not going to get into that. Am I?
You don't mean that you're going to bring up my mother?
Well, your mother brought you up. Why shouldn't I?
Well, okay. Tell them about my mom.
Marvin's mom. They lived in Pea Ridge, Arkansas. A little tar paper shack, actually. Marvin comes from, lower means. But his mother did the best she could do for her son. He was her only son. And to make extra money when she wasn't bartending at, Harry's Drink and Go or something like that in Pea Ridge. It's the only bar in town. Anyhow, she found that she had a special talent, and it required her to go to Florida about 3 or 4 times a year because Mrs. Merriweather, believe it or not, was an alligator wrestler.
And she was a fine one, too.
That's right, Marvin. I've always wondered, what weird recessive gene sprung forth from the Merriweather family tree? I always wondered about that.
My Aunt Jean was never reclusive.
I said recessive.
Oh. Well, anyway, my Aunt Jean was a fine woman. Don't you make fun of her.
I loved your Aunt Jean. I used to call her Weird DNA. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I never knew what the fuck you were talking about.
You know what, Marvin?
What?
I think this silliness has gone on far too long because I have serious business to discuss with all these YouTubers.
What do you mean, YouTubers?
You're not aware of YouTube?
Is that a special sexual toy?
Goodbye, Marvin.
Goodbye, Mike.
I'm very honored by Pastor John Hagee's endorsement today.
Here's Hagee's opinion of the Catholic Church.
This is the great whore of Revelation 17.
The Reverend Hagee has made other statements that sound to me very unchristian-like. Hey, you know what? I don't need to add my words. Mr. McCain's and his supporters' words speak for themselves. So, we're done with the McCain part in a few moments with Michael. A bit of a factoid. That sounds awfully pretentious, doesn't it? Okay, here's a fact. I'm a Vietnam vet. I was a first lieutenant in the infantry during the Vietnam war, okay? And I'm a very, very angry Vietnam vet who, as a proud American, gladly served the America I loved. Still love, but God, I wish I'd known the level of idiocy behind the Vietnam War. I would still have served my country, but I wouldn't have been happy about serving my country for an unnecessary war. Wait a minute. Does that have a ring of truth to it? No, not Afghanistan. Now, I know we should be there. No, the other war. The parallels are obvious, aren't they? So yeah, I love America. I'm not one of those, what does the radical right have to say about liberals? Well, actually, I am a liberal. You probably guessed that, but did you know that liberals can love America just as much as Republicans? As strange as that may seem to some members of the American society, which shall remain unnamed. Anyhow, yes, liberal, good, liberal, not bad, because in spite of our sometimes wacky ideas, we all love America. Despite the criminal machinations of a neocon cult at the control of today's America. You know, the one that tortures people. Duh. Weren't we supposed to be the paragon of torture is a no-no? That was America back when I was serving in Vietnam. Yeah. Torture. Then there's a writ of habeas corpus, flushed down the toilet. And this administration, which I think they have had the country's interests at heart. I really do believe that. I mean, look at all the perks that they've given, the rich guys. That's something the Democrats, I'm sorry, we have to give that to the Republicans because the Republicans look out for their own. And I think that's, kind of admirable. But one that really gets me, I mean, there's so many things that this administration has done. I mean, the executive branch is on steroids now. And, of course, you've got that namby-pamby Congress. And I'm talking to you Democrats, too. Oh, we don't want to piss off Mr. Bush. Oh, I don't know why they don't want to piss him off. I would love to piss George W. Bush the fuck off. That's Katrina, all of the Republican deregulation ethos. Now, here's a good example. Let's take the FTC. They're the agency that, regulates the bad stuff that might come across our borders. Now, what about that dog food from China? It had all kinds of shit in it. I love dogs like the next guy, but, hey, when you're talking about children, those that suffered from lead poisoning, do you know what that does to the brain? Oh, Jesus. I mean, God knows how many kids suffered damage from the lead contained in those cute little toys. The ones the kids say, ooh, I want that, Daddy. If the goddamn motherfucking regulatory system is supposed to protect your children, have been on the goddamn job, maybe those kids who are affected forever by the incompetency, the self-serving ethos of this motherfucking administration, maybe they'd be fine today. I know I come across as a kook, but I am one motherfucking goddamn angry kook at what's happened to our country, the United States of America. Where the fuck have you gone? I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm praying for America. I'm sorry. That ends this session of a few moments with Mike.